that we should be doing, or we're not doing all the things we should be doing if a lot of you don't even know if you're a member or not. So can anybody tell me one thing that you know that the Wisconsin Council for Local History does?
They occasionally, rarely give mini grants.
This is true. It's actually, the mini grants right now are being funded by the Wisconsin Historical Society, but it normally is the Council for Local History that does it. Correct?
In previous years, it was a joint program, so each organization contributed funding towards the pool of money available. At this time, the society is contributing the mini grant amount, but that was with an agreement and conversation with the council.
The reason right now that the council isn't doing it is, again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're trying to get it so that there's money in an endowment so that we can just take the interest and they can be larger grants instead of the little mini grants.
I'm sorry, I don't know, what is the council? What is their purpose?
That's what we're trying to figure out. If anybody knows, and to
Oh,
tell you.
So I might have just tell me what it is.
Okay, it's just your representatives to the Wisconsin Historical Society. So some of the things they do is I gotta move that. When everybody was still eating, I couldn't get anyone to hear me. So basically, they help with the mini grant. They help with the history conference that we have every October. I guess it isn't always October, is it? But every fall. They, what else do they do? What else do we do?
Do you want some? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So the Council for Local History was formed in 1961, and originally it was an advisory board to the Wisconsin Historical Society's Board of Curators. So a board of representatives from across the state represented the interests of local history organizations, of affiliates, and served as an advisory board to the State Historical Society. The Council for Local History is now a 501c3 organization. It still has a board of directors that is representative of 10 regions across the state, as well as members at large. And still the primary focus of the council is to advise the Wisconsin Historical Society on its services to local groups, as well as create opportunities like this one for networking and communication across the state. So there are 10 regions. There's a representative from each region. There's members at large. And the group meets
Mostly was quarterly. Lately, we have been meeting a lot more often. In fact, probably counting all the different committees, I bet you we meet every 2 weeks lately. But I think it's supposed to go back to not meeting as often, and we've been doing it over Zoom. We've only been meeting in person once or twice a year.
And so the council and the Historical Society partner on mini grants, on some aspects of planning the local history conference and other special initiatives. So it's a formal expression of the long-standing relationship between the Historical Society and its affiliated organizations, which dates back to 1898.
So the big problem is that by our bylaws, we cannot charge dues. You're automatically members, but there's no dues. So that gives us no money to operate. So we can't tell you guys all the wonderful things we do unless we have you in a group like this. When you go to your district meetings, like which we have every other year, and we're due to have one, all of Northwest Wisconsin, so it goes up to Ashland. I mean, it's a huge area. I can't even remember how many counties. That one we should be having this year, and it's kind of set up like this, but it runs a half a day, usually, and there's probably a couple speakers, I'm thinking. So it's like this, but just a little smaller. So if this is a mini conference, it's a mini conference. But it has really good information, and that's how we keep in touch with the Wisconsin Historical Society. So Liz Arbuckle is now our outreach coordinator with the Wisconsin Historical Society, and she will be at, when we do have our district meeting, she will be there. She tried to come today, but it just didn't work out. Janet, I think, covers a much bigger area, right? Do you overlap with her some?
I do have a region of the state that I'm the main contact for, but I lead the team of outreach staff across the state. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, because we are doing this strategic planning, I would like to hear from all of you what things you think this group could help you with. I mean, I had written down tons of ideas, but I thought, well, those are all my ideas. I kind of wanted to hear what you guys thought. Do you have any idea what, since we have this big, powerful group, 440 organizations, there's a lot of things we could do. And we also need to figure out how we are going to become financially solvent, because we really don't have any money to work with. We don't even have money when we want to send out a mailing. We don't have any money. We ask you guys for money, but everybody looks at it and thinks, well, I already do this and I do this, and we're just a little organization, so that 20 bucks goes to pay the light bill probably. So what can we do to make some money, and what can we do to serve you?
I was just gonna ask, what is your mission? Do you have a mission statement?
Well, that's what we're going to
You don't
come up
have
with
one
the
yet?
new mission
Okay.
statement.
Okay, all right.
It's part of the whole revamp.
Okay.
But basically, it's that. It's to represent the affiliate members to the Wisconsin Historical Society, and to help you guys in any way that you need help. And once we do the strategic plan, I mean, we're here to get your ideas right now, but once we do the strategic plan, it'll sound a lot more organized than it does. I would, with this big of a group, I really would like to see us always have a representative on the council. In fact, Brenda's name has come up a few times, and I think she might be going to be asked if she'd be interested. This is my last year. You can do 3 terms, they're 2-year terms, or that's what it is for the at-large. So I'm gonna be done at the end of this year, but we do need somebody on there. And if anyone else,
She said yes. Okay.
well, I can't, I'm not officially asking, but your name, has come up, and, but if there's anyone else too that's interested, I'd like to know that. And I would like to know any ideas, like I said, how we can make money and what we could do to help you.
So is there an option, like, so I know, so I'm just looking at, like, so our Chamber of Commerce, they have like when they ask for renewals of memberships, they changed it up this year, and so they had this section at the bottom, here's your main membership price, whatever it is. But then they give you the option, they're doing options for if you wanted to be like a sponsor for their Freedom Fest event. So it's, like, if you want to pay $300, you can get your name on a sign, all that jazz. But is there an option that you could do something like that, to where it's like when you renew your like WHS membership, that, you can also put money towards the,
Yeah,
the local
that,
Council for Local History, like, as a
right now there is, so if you're saying for when they pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you guys are all, because it's connected, but if there's a way that they can, like, yes, I'm gonna renew my
We can't
WHS.
decide that. That would have to be the Wisconsin Historical Society, and I don't even know if they can ask that for us.
Okay.
Can you?
Well, there's membership programs for the Wisconsin Historical Society. That's different than affiliate membership.
Okay,
And so there is not a fee or a membership cost to be an affiliate.
okay.
And so some affiliates or some individuals become members and pay that annual membership price. And there are options to add on different additional gifts. Like right now, one of our primary fundraising efforts is to create a fund for low-income memberships for WHS. So I become a member, and that's $110 a year, and then I put another $50 towards that accessibility for all membership programs. So there are opportunities to do that, but that would be, Tammy is right, a conversation not with the Wisconsin Historical Society as a state agency, but with our fundraising arm, the Wisconsin Historical Foundation. I just want to add, Tammy, that I want to recognize you and Brenna and everyone else here today, what you're doing today in organizing this mini conference and what you do in coming together for your quarterly meetings. That's an amazing expression, I think, of what the Council for Local History or what the local history community in general can do to support the affiliate organizations. I think it's a really amazing service and volunteer effort that you all put into this Northwest Consortium and this mini conference. I mean, last year was fantastic, this year is great. And so I just wanted to take that moment to acknowledge, like, this is one of the things you're already doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I know it's maybe not officially part of the Council for Local History as you see it, but it's all part of the same work and the same.
So I was surprised
Effort.
to hear that there's lots of consortiums around the state. Do you have any idea how many?
I think there's probably maybe 8 to 10, but they kind of meet in different ways and on different schedules and things.
We didn't know about any when we started this.
So this is the
that's
first,
really
today was the
cool.
first time I heard of it. Today was the first I heard of it.
No, you've heard about our consortium for a long time. No,
But
you've
the
been part of
Northern
it since we
Heritage
started it.
Council. Yeah.
Oh, theirs,
Yeah.
theirs,
That was the first
right,
time, yeah.
right. And I
It's a
hadn't heard
real
of it
like
before last fall.
grassroots, I think, more recent effort, and so it is interesting. I mean, because the Northern Heritage Council, the scope of their geographical scope includes, you know, essentially
North.
highway, not 8 even, but 10 in north.
Yeah.
And so I think you're seeing probably post-pandemic or just in the last 5 or 6 years, more grassroots kind of reorganizing of regions and things. And I think that's a really interesting topic for the council to take up in its next conversations about is there a way to align? Is there a way to, collaborate, to re-envision how the council's regions work or how people gather together?
So we had people contact us from outside of this area, which we don't have this is our area thing. It's whoever feels it's worth their time to drive that far,
Yeah.
we'd welcome them. But they were asking, could they come to this even though they're not in our area? Well, it's like, we're in your area if you want us to be in your area. Yeah.
I think last year someone came from Oshkosh, right, when we were in Chippewa Falls?
Yeah.
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 Oh, there was somebody,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
It was.
Yeah. And there was somebody up in Bayfield that was interested in coming
Yeah.
this year that didn't work out. Okay, so do you guys have any ideas, would tomorrow when we meet on our Zoom meeting, do you have any ideas of what I should bring up as I don't even know if we're gonna get this far on it, but because we're figuring out how we're doing the strategic planning, but Ben is also in that group, that's right. One of our speakers today, Ben Clark, and he is from over by, is it Wausau or Rothschild?
Wausau, and then I'm in Northwoods, so everything north of that.
Yes, so, anyway, do you have anything that I should take to that meeting that you're like, yeah, we really wanna see more of this, or
Sure.
what?
One of the useful things is people or museums who make portable program or displays about some topic, and then have them shareable, so that we don't all have to do our own. We could just say
That's a good idea.
for a pickup or maybe a fee, we could use this one for a month at our museum.
Okay, Wisconsin Historical Society does some of that, but this could be something a little different, more of a hands-on type one instead of.
Especially if there's like a very low fee or no fee, just
And
for
Oh,
accessibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's just paying for shipping, I think, the ones that do it. Okay, that's a really good idea. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Sarah's daughter did a traveling truck for us.
Pretty hard for small museums to create a lot of new displays, and to get people into a small one, you really have to do something new all the time.
Right, Otherwise, they've seen your displays, why are they gonna come again? You can't keep redoing them all the time. That's a good idea.
I think the Historical Society could do a little more marketing for local groups.
That's,
Well, have you guys looked into a gem grant, just as the Council for Local History?
No, but I'm gonna make that.
Just because
I don't
get,
know
like
how
start
it would
marketing
work.
things, I mean, I think they do offer things, I think they do, I may be wrong, but.
I'm not sure, yeah, how we
Just to
can
get,
do
I mean,
but
cause it
maybe.
seems like obviously, yeah, you have, I mean, I looked it up, like you have the web page on the Wisconsin Historical Society website, but it seems like it's just, yeah, it's not, like it's, you need to get your word out there as a whole and just maybe better differentiate between like how you're not directly, like what
Yeah.
you do differently.
Yep.
And so, yeah, just like a gem grant to help like,
Okay.
just disseminate that would be better.
The magazine is a very good magazine, but it could have a little local feature.
What magazine?
The Historical Society
Historical.
magazine, state, could have a local feature section. It features museums in our area,
Or yeah, like if you guys could write a section.
maybe the
on
rest of the
it.
state too, but our area in particular.
Always advocate for your home base, yeah.
Our area.
Okay. Anything else? Because I've taken too much time on this already. Anything else? Okay, if you guys think of something, send me an email or call me or whatever, because, yeah, this would be the time to talk about it. I wanted to mention that we just had Advocacy Day. I've never participated in it before, but Ben was at that too. It's, you know, where you go meet your legislature people down in Madison and just getting to know them. Even if you're, you know, we didn't have anything to advocate for right now because they're not in session. They don't have any bills in front of them. But just to get to know them is very helpful. And that's once a year that they have it. And you heard Kristen talking about how that would have been probably a different advocacy day, I'm thinking, or just contacting them. But be in contact with those people because they really can control the purse strings of how the people in Wisconsin's money is spent and how it can help history organizations. So that was just a little plug for them. And then I wanted to do Janet to do a plug and tell us a little bit about the Pomeroy Foundation. Have you guys heard of them? They're out in New York, and they one of the things that they do is that they give money for markers, roadside markers, history markers, and different kinds of markers. They have all different programs. We're not a state that we can just directly go to them, but they did give a big grant to the Wisconsin Historical Society, and she's going to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So before I leave today, I keep leaving all of my stuff at the back of the room and then sitting up at the front. Lesson learned. But I do need to leave in a little bit to get back to Eau Claire for a meeting. But before I leave, I'm gonna set some of my business cards, as well as a handout about the new state historical markers grant program that I'll tell you about quickly. So the Wisconsin Historical Society received a grant from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. One of their main activities is funding state historical markers. They also fund blood cancer research. They are a very unique foundation, and that those are the two primary areas of funding. So, as Tammy mentioned, there are a lot of programs they fund that are specific to New York State or a handful of other states. However, I encourage you to go to their website, so William G. Pomeroy Foundation. They do have some roadside marker programs that are open for applications from all 50 states. So you might find a couple of their programs of interest to you. So the Historical Society is seeking applications for community applications from nonprofit groups, educational institutions, or local municipal governments or tribal governments. We will fund up to 12 new state historical markers. And the deadline is coming up pretty soon. It's the end of April. But if you are interested in applying for one of these grants and you intend to get the application in, we can wiggle the deadline a little bit. So the focus of this grant is to add new state historical marker topics that have not in the past been represented in our state historical markers program. So we are actively seeking topics that include African American history, Hispanic history, Hmong history, sort of recent immigration or refugee populations like the Somali population here in Barron County, as well as seeking applications, especially in cooperation with tribal governments or tribal programs that share Native history that hasn't been represented in previous marker programs. There are a lot of state historical markers out there that touch on or include Native history, but many of them were put up in the 1950s, 60s, and they represent a very dated interpretation of tribal history. So the applications we're looking for would be different than those past types of markers. So if you have an idea for highlighting a story that has not been previously told in your community, especially through a state marker, women's history, immigrants, refugees, just more diverse and previously unshared stories, those are the kind of applications we're looking for. And as I said, the deadline is coming up soon, but if you have an idea, a spark, an interest in applying, you can reach out to me and we can kind of talk about the deadline.
Do they do this every year?
This, let me get through this year first. No. This is our first grant from the Pomeroy Foundation, and so it's possible that it could become a reoccurring grant program, but we're finishing up this grant cycle with them first before we do. So hopefully there will be something similar in the future. That's a great question.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
So old business, the only thing we had under there was the passport program. So I know that Brenna got it all ready, and I don't think that everybody, including us, got our information updated on it. I believe it could be printed out for anybody that wanted it.
Yeah, I mean, I sent out the file, so essentially, like, if anything needs to be changed, send it to me and I can make the changes and send it back out. But as far as I took anybody that was willing to participate. I took the information, if it was sent to me, I took it and put it in there. If it wasn't sent to me, I just went to your website and pulled the information, so if I got anything wrong, so that's.
So that is available for you to print out whenever you want, and you can do with it whatever you want. If we can talk about it more at the next meeting, but
Sure.
But if you want to start using it for this new season, and you don't have the information, Brenna could probably email it to you again, and just go ahead and use it, and you're doing your own prizes, and just, I think there's probably directions there with it too, right, somewhat of what we had decided on.
Yeah, I mean, I sent out just a little brief of like what, if you want to be included, what you need to send me, and then, yeah, the instructions on who, like, on visitors that get it, it's just right on there.
So, we'll move on from that. We're basically, this is the time that we gave Ben to start, and we are not through with our meeting. But I know what we'll do, I don't know if any of this is stuff we have to talk about now.
There's a handout so we can skip our book.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk a minute about it.
Well,
Maybe you need to talk about it
uh,
a minute.
This is a learning exercise, so you should read this handout we gave you that says America 250 Book Committee Update. I believe in November, or maybe earlier, a subcommittee of this group was created to do a book on the 250th birthday of the United States. And so we've been meeting about every 2 weeks by Zoom and talking about it, and it's been changing. And at the moment, our idea is featuring all of the museums. This is a printed book we're talking about, and we'd be featuring the different topics that are on the back of the handout, but what you could find in each museum or in the area around it about that topic. So if you're interested in railroads, like the people had on the web there. The difference in publishing a book on this, I'll give you, on the web, you can't earn any money hardly from anything you do. And we printed a book, our local history society, in November, History of Atlas, or all about Atlas, like 311 pages, full color, 8.5 by 11, a lot of pictures. Cost us $15 a book, and we sold 300 at $25 a book, which made us $3,000 in the last 6 months from a book published. So what will happen here is if we get this book together before 2026, that's the year, then each of you will get them at cost, and then you can sell them if you want and get rich too.
And if you haven't submitted anything yet, you still can catch up and get to where he wants us to be. I think that's all spelled out in this.
Yeah, this has to be out before, we want to get it out before 2026, so we have some time yet, but, and how we're thinking about approaching it by just sending out to the consortium list these online survey questions that says, all about your railroad information, and then you can fill it out and send it in and include some pictures if you have or whatever. But it's still pretty evolving yet, right?
Yep, it is. So Sarah Pico went to a conference and came back with, I think that's where she got these, the America 250 books. I've showed them to you before, but I haven't been willing to part with mine. But there are some up here that anybody can take. You want one? Okay.
And if you want more, there's a phone number on there you can call and they will send them to you for free.
Anyway, they're going to be sitting up here, and then Karen Saylor left some business cards. She has one for the Historical Society and one for her, but she says she's going to get it no matter which card you get. So go ahead and grab one of these too. I'm going to put these up here as well. Is there anything else that we have to discuss before we adjourn? Because I'm skipping over tons and tons of stuff. So we'll plan on the next meeting being whatever that second Tuesday is in June, and unless we figure out something else, it'll be at Balsam Lake.
It's going to be at Balsam Lake, you said?
Yeah. Yes. And we'll also have you check on whoever you were saying first speaker.